So let's take a few minutes and look at the temptation in the desert.
Okay.
And we'll
You'll have to bring that up.
I'll pull that up, yeah. Okay, here we go. So we got the temptation of Jesus in the desert, Matthew chapter 4. Matthew 4 verses, well, we'll start off at 1. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterwards hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If you be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceed out of the mouth of God. Then the devil there's already so many problems with that. Then the devil take him up into a holy city and set him up on a pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, If you be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Jesus said unto him, It is written, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Verse 8. And again, the devil, did I turn you down? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I had your mic down. If you were trying to say something along the way, I apologize. You're back up again. Verse 8, Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceedingly high mountain, and shows him the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, All these things I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me. I find that so interesting. You can hear me.
Oh, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
For all sorts of reasons.
You want to pick up where I'm at? Because I know you're just chomping at the bit wanting to comment. I might as well take it away.
No, let's finish the story.
So 9. Okay, so this was 9. Let me scroll on up some. Make sure I don't miss it too much. Okay. Then said Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shall you serve. I love that. Jesus is telling the whole world right there, you should not worship me, you should only worship God. That's beautiful. I need to highlight that. Then the devil leaves him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto Jesus.
Right.
Now, when it had heard that John was cast into prison, I think we're out of that now. Okay. Thoughts?
Oh my, I got a lot of thoughts.
Okay, let's start at the top.
Right, first of all, remember in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1,
Yes.
Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Wait a minute. If the devil honestly thought Jesus was God, that Jesus was divine, how could the devil tempt God?
Yeah.
Which means the devil did not recognize Jesus as divine.
Nice.
Okay. When he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. Okay. Again, just like Moses. Then the tempter, that's the devil, comes to him and says, If you're the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. All right. If you're the Son of God, not because I know you're the Son of God.
Right.
Okay. You can do this. And it's like it's a challenge to Jesus to show that he is the Son of God, which he never does.
Right.
Okay. But he answered, and this is verse 4, he answered and said, It's written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Not out of my mouth.
Right.
Out of the mouth of God. So again, the devil is contrasting between the divine, between God and Jesus. So does Jesus.
Yep.
Not only here, but other places too. Not my will, but your will. Okay. 5. Then the devil takes him up to the holy city and sets him on a pinnacle of the temple and says, If you're the Son of God, cast yourself down, for it's written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone. If the devil is not recognizing the divinity of Jesus, because he's not saying you can prevent yourself from hitting the ground.
Right.
You throw yourself down, but God will save you.
If you are the Son of God, yeah.
If you're the Son of God, God will save you. Okay. When Jesus in the verse 7 says, It is written again, You shall not tempt the eternal your God. At this point, he's not saying tempting himself, he's saying tempting God. Because if he casts himself down, it is a challenge to God to save him. So by saying you shall not tempt the eternal your God, what he's saying is that I'm not God.
Question. Verse
Yeah.
6, it says, and he said to him, if you be the Son of God, cast yourself down, for it is written, he shall give
Right.
his angels charge concerning thee. Okay, so where are we at? We're on 8 or 9? No.
We're on 8.
8. Okay, good. Go ahead.
Again, the devil takes him up into an exceeding high mountain, shows him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto them, all these things will I give you if you will fall down and worship me. What? My Bible tells me that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. God already owns this. The devil takes him up to a high mountain, shows him kingdoms of the world and the glory of those kingdoms of the world, and then says, I will give these to you. That means that he doesn't believe Jesus is God because God would already own them.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says, then says Jesus unto him, go away, Satan, for it's written, you shall worship the eternal your God, and him only shall you serve, which means that the devil is telling Jesus to worship the devil. Instead of worshiping God.
Yeah.
But if Jesus were God, then he wouldn't be worshiping anybody else. He would be the one to be worshiped.
Yeah, and Jesus...
So again, it's the devil making a statement that explicitly states that Jesus wasn't divine.
Right. And Jesus himself approving that by saying, you shall only worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve.
Right.
So he didn't say us only or me only. He said him only.
Right. Exactly. That's everything that the devil is doing here, according to this made-up story, okay, is reflective of the idea that the devil did not see Jesus being God. The devil did not see Jesus being divine.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wouldn't have tempted him. He wouldn't have challenged him. He wouldn't have tried to show him, I can give you everything you see, because he had already owned it. It's a very, very interesting story, but I don't think people really think about it that much.
Well, I think it's interesting, too, now here that John was cast into prison. And is this where he asked him if he was John the Baptist? Or not John the Baptist, it was Elijah, actually. Oh, yeah.
No, not here.
It says, hold on, yeah, I think it did.
Where are you looking?
Let's see, verse 13, and leaving Nazareth, he came up and dwelt in Capernaum, which was the coast of the border. Okay, and he says that it might be fulfilled. Oh, okay, what is spoken by? Okay, never mind. I saw the Isaiah here thing I was thinking.
Right, but the whole Elijah isn't.
Yeah, right.
John the Baptist is not Elijah, is the Gospel of John. John 1:21. But do you want to also give the verses where Jesus says that Elijah the prophet is John the Baptist?
Yes, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Okay, so since we've got time on our hands, let's talk about Matthew chapter 11, verse 14 and following, and compare it with John chapter 1, verse 21.
Okay, Matthew 11:14. Got it. I'm highlighting them now. So, okay, good deal.
Well, actually, we're going to start with 12, Matthew 11:12.
Okay. Let me close that off. There we go. I didn't work. Okay, 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you will receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. Talking about John the Baptist.
Right. And all who have ears to hear, let them hear.
Right.
Right. So, first of all, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence. How can heaven have violence?
Mm-hmm.
It's the absolute control, the absolute domain of God. Unless you believe the Christian...
He's speaking metaphorically to the spiritual aspect of his presence.
On earth, maybe.
Yeah, on earth, yeah.
But in heaven, okay.
Yeah.
At any rate, clearly what Jesus is saying, if you are willing to accept it, John the Baptist is Elijah who is to come. What does that mean? Elijah the prophet precedes the coming of the real Messiah.
Yep.
Getting the world ready for the Messiah coming, declaring, here he comes. Okay. And then he says in verse 15, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. Okay. Those who understand will understand. Mm-hmm. So you already have to believe it in order to believe it.
So this is Jesus telling everybody that
Elijah the prophet has already come in the form of John the Baptist. Right,
him.
Exactly.
And now...
Right. But now, if you take a look at John chapter 1, verse 21 and following, okay, start with 19, actually, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. And in John chapter 1, verse 19, you have, this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who are you? And then chapter 1, verse 20, he confessed. He did not deny. He confessed, I am not the Christ. We'll get back to that. That's a very weird way to word things.
Okay.
And verse 21, and they asked him, what then? Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no. So Jesus says that John the Baptist is Elijah the prophet. John the Baptist himself says he's not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So he wouldn't know who he is. Okay. What is it that I'm referring to when I say it's interesting how John chapter 1, verse 20 has a weird, he confessed. He did not deny. He confessed. Mm-hmm. I am not the Christ.
Right.
What is that about? And there's a belief by some Christian scholars that John the Baptist was a competitor to Jesus.
Right. I've heard that too.
And,
wow.
And that the New Testament is trying to converge the stories of John the Baptist under the stories of Jesus and make John the Baptist look subservient to Jesus. I am not even worthy to tie the little shoe of Jesus. Okay. I can't remember exactly how that's worded, but you know what I'm referring to.
Right.
And okay. So when it says this emotional thing about John the Baptist confessing that he's not the Messiah, okay, the reason is because they're trying to subjugate John the Baptist to Jesus. They're trying to make him, he did not deny it, he confessed. So that's what that's all about.
Right. So guys, thank you once again for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything. Turn on all notifications. That's where you'll be sure to not miss anything. And we'll catch you on the next round. Take care. Shalom, everybody. Peace.
If you enjoy this channel and the content, and it has changed your life, or perhaps the life of a loved one or a close friend, would you please consider supporting this work? You can click this link and it'll take you directly to my website with the donate button. Or there's a Patreon link and a mailing address for snail mail if you would prefer. If you do donate, please do me a favor and leave me a phone number where I can contact you and thank you properly. I hope you all have a wonderful 2025. Shalom.